Hi everyone, Michelle Markey with Medina Domestic Arts, and this video will be about the tools that I use for applying bling. And it's a wide variety, and hopefully you will have many of these same tools in your toolbox. If not, then it's things that you can consider purchasing as you go about applying your bling to the Animals Gone Zen blocks. The first thing I want to do is discuss exactly the difference of different types of bling that's out there. And I'm going to bring up the first, which is what everybody or most people have heard about, which is Sworsky Crystals. Well, they are the creme de la creme. They have a patent on how they make their bling, and it is truly some of the shiniest bling out there. It is also some of the most costly bling out there. If any of you would like to know about how much some of this bling costs, my suggestion is to go to rhinestoneguy, all one word, .com, and they sell a wide variety of bling, including Sworsky crystals. And you can look at what the Sworsky costs relative to, say, some of the other bling that we're going to be using in our block. And you can see probably that most Sworsky crystals are anywhere from 3 to 5 times as much as, say, other crystals. But if anybody has ever wanted to see what is so special about Sworsky, and this may be hard to see in a video, so if you're in class, I'll pass this around so you can see. I created a sample of Sworsky and Preciosa Czech crystals, as well as some of other varieties that I use. And the Sworsky, which is this one right up here, I don't know if you can see this versus the Preciosa, but I mean, it's just unbelievable how much more bling there is with the Sworsky as opposed to the Preciosa. Now, there is absolutely nothing with Preciosa. I actually use this quite a lot in this kit, in these kits. And frankly, it's becoming my go-to crystal as far as the second best next to Sworsky that there is. Another, and this is, I'm going to move this down here a bit, another bunch of crystals that I use are these Rhinestone guys, premium, this one's aquamarine. I like these. They're overall, I think they're very high quality. They get their own or have their own crystals made, and I've been very happy with them. So nothing wrong with these. Again, I'm referring you to that website simply because they have such a wide variety of different crystals that they buy from different sources. And last but not least, this is Rhinestone World, and they're really big into the pre-made rhinestone, I don't know, iron-on transfers, I guess is what you would call them. And this is some of their rhinestones. Now, if you compare even with just the Rhinestone Guy premiums, there's not quite as much bling to them, but they certainly do have some shine and prettiness to them. It's not that I won't use them. In fact, they're for large quantities of use, like in the peacock tail. This is where I'll probably source my stones from. Anyway, so that's that. And you can, when you're in class or if you come by the shop, I'll keep this sample here so people can take a look at it. Well, the other thing that you may notice on here is each one of these I have listed next to the name stone size. That's what SS stands for, stone size. So the Swarskys are SS 10s. These Preciosas slightly bigger, they're SS 12s. Down here, more SS 10s. And then these are SS 6s. That gives you a general idea of size. I use anywhere from 6s all the way up to 34s. You will get a wide variety of sizes in your packs. But I did want to at least let you see just in the same colorway. The other thing I don't know if you'll notice, and I'm going to step back a bit, you know, even though these are all supposed to be the same color, they're really not. So if you try to substitute one color for another manufacturer's color, you may not find that it matches quite as well as what you might think. So bear that in mind when you're going out and looking for crystals. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to actually open this package of crystals out so that you can see how I manage my crystals, because I think it's very important that you see, and most of them will come like this. They come all folded up, and you're going to just pop open the little seals. The Sworsky is so kind to give you an already pre-cut thing. And I just open these up, and I keep a bowl all the time. No matter what I'm doing with crystals, I keep a bowl around, because it's interesting how these things have a way of flying out the bowl, landing on the floor. In fact, the other day, I opened one up and they flew out all over the place, and they landed on my dog who was underneath the table. And it was quite comical trying to pick out stones out of his fur. As it turns out, he ended up kind of walking off, and I had to brush them out and then pick them up off the floor, and that's not a whole lot of fun. So anyway, I'm just going to come down here and show you that they come folded up, and I'm just going to pour them into this little tray that I have. And you see they kind of go all over the place, and boy, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to bring it up. Oh, isn't that just gorgeous? Ooh, it's so pretty. Now, I'm going to bring these up real close, and let's see if I can get this focused so that you can see it right there. You should be able to. It looks like some of these have gold backs. That's, in fact, glue. Everything I use as far as these animals is hot fix, which means basically you're going to attach it with an iron. And we'll talk about those here in a little bit. But some of them will actually have gray backs. Sworsky uses this gold foil glue. And as far as glues go, when you iron a Sworsky down, it's there for life. Some of the lesser known brands or stones that are made in China, you're going to find the glue isn't quite as good as, say, Sworsky. And it's not to say they're bad. It's just you have to be a little more careful with them. The glue is, say, not as steadfast as, say, the Swarskys are. But boy, I tell you, you iron this stuff down, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, the next thing I do is, here at the house, is I keep everything in jars just like this with screw tops. As mentioned in my other video earlier, anything with a pop top, you run the risk, or even those little bags that, unfortunately, this is how I'm going to send most of this stuff to you, are in these little bags. I'm just going to pull one up here, right here, for the turtle. They're going to come to you like this, and I'll explain more of this later. My apologies, but in order to keep costs down, I need to send it out to you like this. But I'm going to suggest that as soon as you get your little bag, that you transfer over to, say, something like this. Now, in the case of me, I buy so many crystals. I'm going to just pour all these in here, and I'll grab the extra ones later. Again, my apologies for my head if it gets in the way, but I just pour them in here. And let me talk about how stones are sold. They are sold by the gross. And what is a gross? A gross is 144 stones. Let me refer back to the Sworsky label here real quick. In the case of this is packaged, had 1,444 pieces of stones. You see that it's silver foiled. Oh, I don't know why they call it silver, because it looks gold to me. And it's hot fix. The other thing is it will tell you 10 gross. That gives you an idea of how many comes in these little packets. It will tell you the color. SS8 is the size of these stones. This 2038 Exilion Rose, that's the form of the stone, and that's what gives it its bling look. Sworsky has a variety of these types of stones. You can go to their website and you can see they have just amazing different types of beveled edges that give the stone its actual bling. Most stones are going to come looking like this. So this is a typical package from Sworsky as well as any other company. Okay, and but back to containers. If you want, you can buy little ones like this. I get them on Amazon. They're dirt cheap, little screw tops. I would suggest that if you're doing this, that you do like me and label them. Here, let me get this so you can see it. I label everything so that I'm not confused about what it is, and so that when you look at the stone, you're not guessing to the color. You will have color codes with those who are buying the bling, as well as those who are buying the full kit. You will have color codes with each one of these that, again, I'll explain later when we get to talking about the turtle. And again, just some more tools that I use to keep bling in. And actually, I like these also for paint, deep wells, very, very convenient. You notice the little triangular trays. The reason why a lot of the jewelers use these is because when you go to pour out, they're very easy. This is kind of my methodology for when I get ready to bag all of your kits up. I use this and to measure and place each stone in the particular bag. I use a wide variety of tweezers. I can't say enough about tweezers. Each one of these I use. I'm going to actually, this one says www.sherryscrystals.com. I don't know where I got this one, doesn't have a name. But this one, strictly medical tweezers. You nurses or those of you in the medical field, I bet you can get these, you know, a dime a dozen. I go to Amazon under medical supplies for surgical tweezers and the like, and you can find these for dirt cheap. I'm going to have several different tweezers available as time goes on. So if you want to hang tight and look at what I've got, you're welcome to. The other thing I use is a jeweler's weight. And I do this mainly because I'm making so many kits these days that I usually place the jewels. I count out the jewels initially, weigh them, and then going forward, I actually can just weigh what I need as opposed to actually counting. For those of you who already have bling, this might be a handy way for you as you get the Excel spreadsheet and the number of stones that you need. This might be a great way for you to measure out your stones rather than counting them out individually. And that's just a suggestion for down the road. Other things that I have, this is a pickup tool, and I'm just going to show this since I did spill some of the Swarskys in there. Oh, sorry, let me get this up. This is actually from Silhouette, the cutting machine. It's a little tool, and I'm just going to pull this off, and you're going to see it's kind of got a little gray tip on it. You can come down here, it's kind of sticky, and if I reach down there to grab that stone, voila. See there? Picks it right up, no problem. Some of you who may have trembles or shaking of your hands, you may want to pick one of these tools up. It's really, really great for grabbing your stone, and that way it will allow you ease of placement. I'll demo that on the turtle when we get over to it so that you can see how it works. But I actually found these things when I was doing Diamond Dot, which is a whole nother thing altogether, but they have a similar tool that uses wax, and it really makes it super, super easy when you need to grab just a single individual stone to pick up in place. Okay, so that's that. Let me just see here. What else do we have? So let's say that you have a bunch of stones. This is this is actually a painter's brush, believe it or not, but they're selling them as stone gatherers. They for some reason it gets caught up and grabs the stones really easy. And so if you need to push the stones together and get them all in one place, this little job will do it. But trust me, just go get one of the little, those little, I mean, you can tell what it is. It's just nothing but one of those paint sponges. And yet, if you buy this through any rhinestone place, they'll charge you an arm and a leg. Just go to Home Depot and buy cheap ones from there, for $1. Okay, now, several people, and I'm going to walk away for a minute because I need to grab this out of a drawer. I didn't bring it over, so hang tight. Asked about using glue, and I believe in my notes I mentioned Roxanne's glue, and the reason I'll tell you I use this is because particularly like when there's a lot of stones and you're trying to get them in place and hold them down, you may want to first put a thin coat of Roxanne Basic Glue down first. That way, as you place the stone, it's going to stay in place before you iron it. I believe Gone Quilting has a bunch of this. If not, please ask for it. I'm sure they will be happy to order it for you. But this is what I use just to hold the stone in place. It is it will not replace hot fix glue. You really have to set these stones with hot fix. Having said that, if many of you at home already have stones and it's not hot fix, I have used this before called Dazzle Tack, and it's an awesome jewelry glue, and it really holds the stones in place if your stone is not hot fix. Many stone manufacturers recommend using very little glue when your stone is hot fix. For some reason, the glues are in conflict with each other, or something happens where neither glue will work if you try to use something like this with hot fix. Now, let's say you hot fix your stone and later on the stone falls out. Then I would recommend using this, but not when you still have hot fix glue. One of the things that a beginner sometimes does to actually hurt the stone and the glue working is you hold the iron down on it too long, or you press too hard. And what happens is when the glue liquefies, it will squirt out from underneath the stone, and you'll have very little glue actually holding the stone to the fabric. And so what happens is after the first wash, you'll end up having your stone fall off, and you'll have to replace it with something like this to hold the glue down. Okay, now that you're using hot fix, let's talk about the various different methods that we use to hold hot fix or actually iron them down. And I'm going to move these out of the way. I'm not going to do anything with it yet. We'll do that when I give the video on the turtle. But I want you to see what I have in my repertoire as far as tools. And let's see who makes this one. This one is, ooh, it doesn't say. I believe it's a Tulip. Now, don't hold me to that because I thought the name was on here. But all of the craft stores, all of them, have tools like this. And this particular one, the reason I like it, I don't know if you can tell, but the top of it is flat, as opposed to some of these others, like this one. And this manufacturer is, no, this is Tulip. Okay. I don't necessarily care for these because if you look at this, this has a concave tip to it that the stone head is supposed to fit right into. Sometimes these work, sometimes they don't. I'm just not crazy about this, and this is one of the reasons I'm showing it to you, is because what do I do like versus what do I don't like. These, if you have it, go ahead and make it work. But if you're looking for something else, look like for that other one that's flat. Finally, a lot of you have this little guy already. Okay, you can use it. Try to put the direct top, not this little flat head. This thing does not get hot enough. I mean, to be honest with you, none of these tools, maybe that one down there, the purple one with the flat top, it gets pretty hot. But sometimes these just don't get hot enough, particularly if you're putting down some larger stones. You really need to go to the next step, which is to my favorite tool, mini irons. And I'm going to show you two that I use. Oop, there go all my little containers. This is a Dritz little mini iron. Gets very hot. Now this is a steam iron, I believe. Maybe not. Yeah, no, it's got the little thing here. It's a steam iron. Never, ever, ever use steam with any of this. As we said earlier, no water involved. But the reason I'm not crazy about this one is 4 little holes. This would be the perfect iron if it didn't have the 4 little holes. Now, having said that, can you work around it? Absolutely, not a problem. But my all-time favorite, best ever, is another Clover product. Oops, I'm losing my... I told you guys I'm not the best photographer in the world, and I'm pulling all this down. Sorry about that. I'm almost done with this, so I'm just going to finish this up here real quick and show you the Clover iron. And it's great. Teflon back. That nice little pointy tip allows you to get into small spaces, and it stays on, and it's hot. Okay, well, I think that's just about it as far as all the information I want to provide you with Bling. Again, sorry for the little bobo at the end, but next, the turtle. Thank you.